You know what's fun? The Pittsburgh Pirates, and it's about time. Back in 2013, the Pirates had their first winning season since 1992. Fast forward 10 years to now in 2023, and the Pirates are once again a team that's enjoyable to watch. In this video, I go over everything the Pirates have done to get back to baseball relevancy. Sponsoring today's video is SoRare MLB, a fantasy baseball game using digital cards licensed by Major League Baseball. To get started, click the link in the description down below and stay tuned until the end of the video to learn more. First off, let's rewind a bit and go back to 2013. They finally had a winning season for the first time since the Barry Bonds-led Pirates in 1992. The 2013 Pirates were led by NL MVP Andrew McCutchen, and they would go on to playoff appearances for 3 straight seasons. Sure, they would have early exits in each of those playoffs, but they were teams that were fun to watch that included players like Andrew McCutchen, Starling Marte, Russell Martin, Francisco Liriano, Garrett Cole, AJ Burnett, Edison Volquez, and more. Eventually, though, their winning ways would run out and they would dive into a rebuild. After a couple of years of finishing under 500 in 2016 and 17, the Pirates decided to start making moves towards a rebuild. The first one happened in the middle of the 2017 season when they traded lifetime Pirate reliever Tony Watson to the Dodgers, who would eventually make the World Series that year. In return, they received a player by the name of O'Neal Cruz, who ended up becoming one of the game's most exciting prospects and young stars. Unfortunately for Cruz, he broke his leg on a slide into home plate earlier this year. While there's no current timetable for his return, he figures to be one of the best young stars moving forward. The next big splash was in the next offseason when they traded their number 1 pick from the 2011 draft, Garrett Cole. He was traded to the Astros, and in return, the Pirates received Joe Musgrove, Michael Felix, Colin Moran, and Jason Martin. None of these players are with the Pirates currently, however, but one of them was traded eventually for pieces that are currently playing for the Pirates. I'll get back to that here shortly. However, the biggest splash of all was 2 days later when the Pirates shipped the face of the franchise, Andrew McCutchen, to the San Francisco Giants. It ended a tenure of 9 seasons in Pittsburgh, and he was still one of the best players in the game. Funny enough, Kutch would end up getting traded again that season to the Yankees. In return for McCutchen, the Pirates would receive a new eventual face of the franchise, Brian Reynolds, who was just signed to a contract extension. Even though the Pirates had already started their rebuild, they would end up hiring a new person to run the operation, and that man was Ben Cherington, who helped construct many great Red Sox teams from 1999 to 2015, including 3 World Series champions, while also drafting and signing pieces that would end up helping the 2018 Red Sox win another championship. He was brought into the Pirates to keep developing the farm system, which would hopefully lead to long-term success. With Cherington in the fold, the deals really started to come in. Another fan favorite, Starling Marte, was shipped out to the Diamondbacks while receiving their now number 6 prospect, Liover Peguero. The next splash was shipping out a piece they received in return for Garrett Cole, Joe Musgrove. In return for Musgrove, they received their current closer, David Bednar, who is currently the Fangraph WAR leader among all relievers in Major League Baseball. They also received 3 other prospects, one being Endy Rodriguez, their current number 2 prospect, Hudson Head, who is their number 24 prospect, as well as Omar Cruz, their number 51 prospect. Along with Musgrove, another big rotation piece in Jameson Taillon was shipped out to the Yankees. In this deal, the most notable piece they received in return was Roansy Contreras, who at the time was the number 13 prospect for the Yankees. Now, he's one of the better young pitchers in the game at just 23 years old. There were a few more smaller deals that have also turned into some key pieces for the Pirates this year. There was Adam Frazier going to the Padres, who would send back Jack Sawinski, and now he's showing some good pop for the Pirates this year. There was trading Daniel Vogelbach to the Mets, and in return, the Pirates got a very good setup man in Colin Holderman. There was also Dwayne Underwood Jr., who came from the Cubs, and he's been a solid bullpen arm for the Pirates so far. There was also a deal made at last year's trade deadline, which actually involved a pitcher they signed in the prior offseason and helped turn his career around, Jose Quintana. After a good first half of the season, they traded him to the Cardinals and got back a very good young pitcher in Johan Oviedo, who's off to a great start in the rotation this year so far. And more recently, they've acquired players like Connor Joe, who had a good 2021 season with the Rockies but struggled in 2022, and Mark Mathias, who missed all of the 2021 season with a shoulder injury but played well in a small sample size with the Brewers and Rangers in 2022. So as you can see, there's been plenty of trades that have worked out and brought in players playing key roles for the Pirates, but there have also been some other key moves as well. Let's shift gears to the draft, where the Pirates have been snagging some very good talent. Right now, the two most notable players out of the draft are first-rounder Ke'Bryan Hayes and second-rounder Mitch Keller. Keller had a solid 2022 season and is looking like the ace of the staff after a very good start to this season. As for Hayes, while the bat may not be fully there yet, his defense is some of the best in the game. And speaking of the draft, the Pirates still have some great talent waiting in the wings, like the number 1 pick from the 2021 draft, catcher Henry Davis, pitcher Quinn Priester, and infielder Nick Gonzalez. They even have other high draft picks, like their first-round pick from last year's draft, Tamar Johnson, and their third-rounder from last year, Bubba Chandler. Overall, the Pirates have the 11th best farm system according to Baseball America, and they also have the first pick for this year's Major League Baseball draft. There's been also some notable international signings like Rodolfo Castro, who signed out of the Dominican Republic back in 2015 and has been a solid replacement for the injured O'Neal Cruz. There was also Ji-Won Bae, who was an interesting signing out of South Korea coming out of high school. He originally signed with the Braves back in 2017, but it was voided when the Braves were caught circumventing international signing rules. When Bae tried to return and play in South Korea, the KBO blocked him from doing so for 2 years since he skipped the KBO draft to sign with the Braves. The Pirates then took advantage and signed Bae with a signing bonus of $1.25 million. When Ben Cherington was with the Red Sox, he made some notable free agent signings, including Mike Napoli, Johnny Gomes, Shane Victorino, Ryan Dempster, and more, and they proved to be key signings en route to a championship in 2013. Ben Cherington also made some bad ones, including Pablo Sandoval, which ended up being one of the worst signings in Red Sox history, but Cherington hasn't made any bad free agent signings so far with the Pirates. This past offseason, he brought in veteran guys like Rich Hill, Vince Velasquez, Carlos Santana, Austin Hedges, and a former face of the franchise in Andrew McCutchen. So far, all of these guys are contributing. It seems the Pirates have found a perfect combination of young talent that includes players that came over in trades, as well as the draft and international free agency, along with some solid veteran talent. Everything is clicking for Pittsburgh right now, and who knows where they will end up this year, but this team is relevant again. So let me know your thoughts about the Pirates down below. Where do you think they'll end up finishing this year? But that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. So Rare MLB is a fantasy baseball game licensed by Major League Baseball that is completely free to play. You manage your own team of major leaguers with digital cards. These are cards that you collect, but you can also buy them, sell them, or even trade them. These cards will make up your roster that will compete against other players all around the world. To get started by drafting your team so you can compete against other players all around the world, click the link in the description down below.